Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend Symbiosis. We are in a competitive position here. I think we actually do have a chance of winning this game, but I really think we need to finish our faction quest here. First of all, the building that we're about to earn is very, very good. This seems extremely useful. And secondly, I think we're going to have a much easier time winning through like building up the wonder than we are pursuing any other victory condition. Even though our science output is now reasonable, I think we're behind by enough techs that a science victory seems kind of tough to get. And even if we were going for a science victory, we want that building either way, right? So, leader enemy boss, who manages the Endless Legend community patch, had a look at the code and suggested to me that it looks like this will complete if I just take a city. I don't need to gain a new assimilation trait. I should be able to just take a city to do this. But I'm not sure whether we want to attack pink or green, really. I suppose we could try to go after purple. You know what? Maybe we could get Eopoly. If I run my army back to our teleportation ruin, the one we're overgrowing still has 3 turns on it, so it would be faster to just pop through this ruin and then run down the road, probably. If we do that, maybe we make it to Eopoly in time. But I mean, the upside of that, obviously, is that Eopoly probably wouldn't be too hard to take. The downside is that purple is not really a competitor in the first place anymore. Like, removing a city from pink or from green has much more of an effect on the game. In particular, it's to our benefit to weaken pink, because pink is the player who is most likely to intercede when we try to win. Blue can't attack us, and red likes us enough that they might not be pushed to war immediately by the victory notifications. So I really do think it makes sense to go after pink. Unfortunately, pink is reasonably difficult to fight, and we're behind technologically. So I think we definitely aren't going to do anything until at least we get Public Granary, because that's going to push us over into Era 4, give us access to a new tier of basic equipment, and once we have that stuff available to us, we can consider our options a little bit. So I guess we build military units until then? Hey, let's have a look at the Urkan lice. If we were to equip an Urkan louse with just like the most modern gear we can, they only have claws available. How do they compare to our other available melee units? It's 140 life, 23 defense, compared to obviously much better here. 52 attack, 54 damage. They're actually much better at dealing damage. They have an initiative of 53, which means that they will go before all of our other melee troops. That's a problem. If their initiative was low, the fact that their defense was low might not matter because we could just have them attack things that our faster units had attacked already. We could have 1 or 2 of them in the hero army and have the hero have them just follow the hero around and attack whatever he's fighting. They cost 302 industry to build compared to 408, 408, and 775. So they're relatively cheap. They really are just going to die immediately, though, huh? I don't know if I think it's worth building them. Let's go ahead and update our other unit designs. I guess we can afford to build these guys with the titanium claws. Are they actually better? 24 attack, 26 damage. Yes, they are actually better. Not a huge amount, but they are better. Alright, so let's get some more troops here. That's the wrong button. Let's also update the Epitane design, and we'll just take them back to Tier 3 Iron Mage Wands. We're going to need some more Epitanes. We're going to need military units. So, at some point here, it's going to make sense to switch back to industry for a little while. So, like, really pump out that military. It actually doesn't speed things up by very much right now. Yeah, alright, let's just keep pumping out the population. So, the central market that we're building should take us back above Fervent. And we need to Yeah, we need to wait before we push these guys off. We got plenty of time on this, though. They have just the militia in here, but we don't know what kind of units they have garrisoned in that golem camp, and there's no angle that we attack this guy at that we're going to be able to not get the golem camp involved. And we know that he's not at war with anybody, right? Okay, everything's pretty chill except for the war between red and purple. And maybe we should just fall back and try to take that city from purple. It may actually end up being a lot easier. And we could still go after the pink thing. If we fall back and try to do that, it's going to pretty much guarantee that we aren't able to stop this. We aren't able to stop this from happening. And closing our borders wouldn't help at all here either, because they can just attack it from across the border. So, well, I guess it's not a decision I have to make this turn. You guys don't have any movement left anyway. Maybe we keep our main army over here and we just run these guys back. We're not actually going to have any more troops finished on this coming turn, though, right? Everything starts finishing next turn. Yep, even with everybody on industry, no troops finish this turn. So it would just be these two we're sending back, and while purple's cities are probably not well defended, they're more well defended than two haunts would be able to interfere with. Yeah, I guess for right now, it's looking like we're just going to try to do this the hard way, because we need to break pink down before we become a victory threat, an obvious victory threat. They have made almost all of this territory volcanic, which is somewhat to our benefit, thanks to the assimilation trait, but also to their benefit. And we're just banking dust for the moment, as best we can. Okay. Cold War with you, that's kind of whatever. Oh yeah, we're just banking dust to allow for retrofitting. Okay, that's a settler. There sure are a lot of settlers running around, considering how little unsettled space there is, which is to say all of the space is unsettled. They no longer have any interest in taking that. I wonder if we were to attack here, I think actually we can attack Herkuf in a way that doesn't get the golem camp. If they move their armies away, like 420 fortification obviously is a lot to have to fight through, but if we only have to fight through a couple of units while doing it, that's maybe totally doable. We could try to hire a spy and infiltrate and then use the spy to bring down the walls from within, but I don't think we want to wait that long. We really do want to get this done. Because I'm sure it's going to be like step 7 is earn this thing, and then step 8 is going to be actually building that thing. Yeah. So I don't really want to... I don't want to make it obvious to them what I'm doing. But I do want a little bit more vision of the region. Maybe the smart play with these guys is to have them garrison just so that we can hide them. I don't know how aware the AI will be of them in the garrison. I certainly don't want the AI reinforcing Herkuf or filling its garrison up. Just stash these dudes in here. Next turn we got a lot of retrofitting to do. We are 2 to 14 turns away from winter. Winterfall is not great for us. We are a skill point away from removing the winter movement reduction, which is nice. We're not very far into this level, though. So we're coming up on Empire Plan time. Let's talk about our Empire Plan. I would love to keep this going and this going. So that requires us to be at 1218. I don't know that we really do need much else, honestly. The +3 movement would be nice, but it's a real pipe dream. So we will have 1218 in 5 turns. We'll even have a little bit extra to play with, so we have what we need to declare war. Yeah, it's actually pretty cheap. Out of curiosity, could we get peace back with you? Like how much has my trade changed? Oh, your trade routes get renegotiated at the beginning of each turn. So right now it's showing 0 and 0. I guess let's not worry about renegotiating right now. Let's go to a new turn that starts without him being our trading partner. Oh, right, we can't trade with Red because we don't have a route from the capital to Red's territory, because I never built a dock. So all of our trade was with Blue. We are reliant on Blue for trade. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to have gone to Cold War with us, because there's no way those trade routes are more valuable for me than they were for them. Seems like a terrible waste. We absolutely grab Cold Operator now, so that we don't have to worry about the dust and food penalty from winter. Balther is the only region in the Empire that has advanced resources, but boy oh boy does it have them. And what about other stuff? There's Dustwater in Greldom and Daromard. We've done very well on all of these extra cities we've been able to acquire. So how important is it that we get on new resource extraction? Fairly? It would be nice to have the ability to negotiate alliances to try to, you know, keep people a little bit calm as we move into the victory phase of the game. But it's also not necessarily beneficial to us to, like, the negotiation for alliances can sometimes be very expensive and can involve giving players things that will cause them to win the game, which is something I'm constantly worried about. We first have a city with 15 districts in order to get this expansion disapproval reduction. We don't really need it. I believe with the market we should be fervent again, right? Yeah. So we don't really need it. Well, if we were going to get there, we'd get there pretty much by accident, just because districts are good, not because we're aiming for this. This is have 5 heroes at level 8. That's extremely not happening. Good breastplate, though. This is have a city with 800 fortification to get an item that I would never bother equipping on one of my characters. And this is have 50 of each strategic resource in order to gain the reward. That would be a cool thing to have, but that seems unlikely for us, given that we have no glass steel mining and also new resources. So, do we want to just go immediately into Rare Metal Foundry? I think maybe. There's certainly an argument for, like, Signal Corps and Brigade System. But if we get Rare Metal Foundry, then we have rare metals to use for trade, and then, like, once we have rare metals to use for trade, Hospitality Den becomes maybe a little bit more viable. We can sell them on the market. There's a lot of good uses for them. So, let's fix our unit designs. We can go ahead and equip some nice... I want to stick with spears. Some nice dust versions of these pieces of gear. Do we want the 8% attack? I kind of feel like our melee troops are going to get hit before they get to hit, right? We know that. We know that the enemy cavalry guys are just a little too fast for us. And then improved life on everybody. The ranged units get to hit first, at least last we saw. So that, it might be worth considering keeping them... It might be worth considering keeping them on the iron helmets for the extra attack. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have a look at the numbers in a moment. You are definitely also getting the full toughness thing. The improved life ring, and we probably want to switch out these claws, right? 2932 versus 2434 with a higher level of sweep strike back. So, more damage on the counterattack. And also, not dipping into our strategic reserves anymore. And the Epitanes are up on Unsteady Mage Wands. So let's have a look at exactly what the difference is. We only have 66 attack. So plus 8% attack is really not very much. Yeah, get marginally tougher. Okay, and then we need to make sure we upgrade your gear as well. In particular, we need to make sure that you get the trinkets that you desperately need. So 14 defense plus 15%. Yeah, It's definitely better than trying to put a glass steel shield on him, even though his shield is tiny and looks like it would not be very useful. And in his case, we're talking about 10 health, a little bit of defense lost, a little bit of attack gained. I think I want him to have the ton of attack, actually. Really important that he be able to get through the... really important that he be able to get through enemy defenses boosted by morale. So we have access to this Urkan Slayer thing. Obviously, I don't care too much about that. Where is... Oh, that's right. You have to show obsolete sometimes to get it to show up. Army health boost 1. Seems pretty relevant. We don't have any glass steel for Eye of the Farthinker. Obviously, he doesn't need it because he already has free counter. But it would be worth thinking about like on our ended or something. And it turns out that retrofit's very expensive. Good thing we saved all that money. So, our Shamblers are now at 500 health, the Ended are over 400, the Epitane's 355. I feel a lot better about fighting now. So we have some decisions made. We gotta retrofit... Sorry, I should pull you out of the queue. We gotta retrofit this guy. And then we definitely want to build some new dudes. We need a couple of Epitanes, a couple of melee troops. We have 2 Haunts here. Plus the Shambler, plus 2 Epitanes, plus at least 1 more. Have you guys jump in here as well. So, we could declare war and start by jumping these guys. This would give us the ability to knock out an army of some significant size that isn't actually very well statted. These are pretty out-of-date troops. And then Herkuf's garrison will be able to show up as reinforcements, and if they do, we run over and siege the city, prevent them from regenerating. I kind of like that idea. If we were to jump him right now, like... Because we're not going to gain military strength again anytime soon. We just got our gear upgrade. Rare Metal Foundry won't do it, right? Even if we were going to make weapons out of titanium, or out of mithrite and hyperium, we still would have to pick up weapons tech and then get the metals, which probably we would do by purchasing them. Not really super viable. Yeah, this might be the moment. Anything else going on anywhere else? Anything we need to do? No, we just have to take a city in Herkuf. And Herkuf is large, right? It's built up. It's exploiting a lot of tiles. They have a golem camp over here, so they're exploiting even more tiles. They have some extractors already up, some watchtowers already up. Like, this is a good city for us. And you're not at war with Pink. Pink's not at war with anybody else. Unfortunately, there's no way to get Green to declare war on Pink with us. Although, they do share a border, and if Pink weakens, maybe Green will swoop in and devour them. I'm not sure that's actually good for us. But my guess is that Green's probably not doing that well. A Necrophage player that's not engaging in war is going to have a hard time growing. I guess it's less true for the AI. But I think this is our moment. We try this, and hopefully it works. But probably the way we want to do this, if we can, is by negotiating red into a declaration of war on Pink. I will also declare war on Pink. Okay. And this is, again, just trying to make Pink feel like they are outnumbered, like the war is already going poorly for them. And I could give you a little something. Wow, you go nuts for public granary. Can I get a little something from you? We could get Signal Corps from them. That's actually a pretty good trade. They would also give us Brigade System, which I guess is a little bit more immediately useful. Yeah, just plus 20% defense on all of our units. And this still leaves me enough time to make it to the Empire plan that I want. Yeah, okay. I like that deal. So, 523, we might have to put some people onto influence. We're looking at 1218, and that's if we don't take a city. So I would need to be producing closer to 200 influence per turn. Ozek doesn't have the fancy book yet. May as well give it to him now, since we're talking about putting people on influence. We pay the resource cost that does not matter at all. So if we're producing like 200-ish influence per turn, that means that we will be at 1323 in 4 turns, which is probably not, it's not going to be close to enough, right? I might just move everybody to influence. Because if we're hoping to have Herkuth and also all of the growths attendant, then we probably want to make sure we go kind of big here. And part of the reason I was not too worried about picking up the ability to have 8 units in that army is the fact that we have the expanded, what do you call it? We have the expanded reinforcement panels. So we are able to bring in all of our reinforcement units very quickly. It is still better for them to be properly in the army because then they benefit from our commander's military capacities. But it's certainly not a deal breaker. Apparently the guys in Etmus don't have an action point. I'm not sure how that's possible. The other unit in the garrison was just a settler. I wonder if they actually just retreat here. No, they'll fight me. Okay. So our units want to start over here, so as to gain the morale bonus of being in the city, which I guess I'm fine with. I'm very hopeful about the enemy choosing to bring in their reinforcements. Aw, they're too smart for that. That is a real, is a real shame. Okay, well, I don't know that we need to apply a lot of strategy here. These units are not very good, and they don't deal very much damage. We should definitely have all the Epitanes at the very least group up on one enemy, and to have that enemy not be the guy the Lord attacks. Then we should have a little bit of focus here. Okay. Their damage output is getting better. You know, the ability to do 90 damage is nice. Some of our other units are embarrassing themselves, though. I will say that I find the inability to regenerate health on volcanic tiles a little frustrating. It's like we would trivially go back to full after a turn of combat against just about any force except for the Mykara, or against the Kapaku. And that feels a little crappy. I think these guys, there's a pretty good chance these guys are dead before the any of the melee units get their turns. Alright, well, not a bad way to start the war. They did outsmart me a little bit by not throwing any of the city units into the battle. I had such hopes. But we now know that this is just 2 militia and a settler. And if we attack here, they don't get reinforcements up. They're moving their units out of the golem camps so that they will be able to participate in battles. Well, I certainly don't want to fight... Certainly don't want to fight these guys with 420 extra points of fortification. So how do we want to deal with this? The Golem Rider has okay stats. The Stone Sentinel and the Rumbler do not. I don't really want to fight that Golem Rider. Like I said, that much extra health is pretty significant. You out of movement? You are. So we can throw our Ended over here and put another 8 points of fortification damage on the city. But, like, the way I want to deal with this is by attacking this army separate from the city. But I don't think we can probably take them with just these guys, I guess. I want to make sure that I can attack the city at the beginning of next turn without any reinforcements and before they have time to move reinforcements up from the rest of their territory, right? So we could hurl our 2 ended at them right now. This is going to turn out poorly, though. That Golem Rider is pretty tough. There's no version of this anymore where I get to attack without including that army. If I attack from right here... Oh, I can't do that. That's a ruin. Yeah, there's no version of this now where I get to fight them without fighting these guys first. We could, at the beginning of next turn, try to quickly have these 3 units attack those 3 units, not include the army as reinforcements, and then have the army take on Herkuf, but if we do it that way, that gives them time during the battle to move up reinforcements. Maybe the right play is to throw the ended at them right now. These ended probably just die. Oh, you know what? They're not fully modernized, though. What was the cost? 300 something? 311? Let's try to get to 311. How much are these selling for? Okay, you know, we can afford to part with 10 Palladian. Get ourselves a little bit of a cushion here. So retrofit these guys. And now with 257 health and stats that are slightly better but still pretty bad. Yeah, I don't think we would win this fight. But we could weaken them. Weaken them enough that it becomes perfectly reasonable to just attack Herkuf, even with them getting all that fortification. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see if we can do something here. Really, Herkuf's reinforcements could participate in this battle despite the fact that they're in a sieged city? That was not my understanding of the rules. I thought that being sieged meant you couldn't participate in battles. Alright, so this guy's going to run forward. He's really the thing we're most worried about. If he dies, it doesn't actually matter about the rest of these troops. So we do have our cavalry spears. Turns out not to matter very much. Okay, I think we'll get him. Hopefully we'll get him. Hopefully we'll get him. Okay. Yeah, like I'm not actually worried about the damage output of this guy or anything. Alright. I feel okay about that. Trade my 2 bad units for their 1 okay unit. So at the beginning of the turn, we just attack Herkuf immediately. And deal with the huge amount of fortification. They have 4 real units to our 7 real-ish units. And hopefully this pushes the faction quest forward. And the arrival of winter I don't think affects this battle at all. I guess I don't actually know what the current winter effect is, but we also don't have time to worry about it. Let's get that attack settled. Okay, there we go. Alright, our fungal bloom was completed, which is cool. We're going to have to run some new ones pretty soon. So, no upkeep from infiltrated heroes, minus 25% dust from hero upkeep on army. Okay, that's fine. We're probably going to want to make sure that we get some pearl stuff going soon. But for right now, let's focus up. 377 is a lot of fortification. Our hero will be able to carve through it pretty quickly, but he's not entirely carrying this, right? Let's have the ranged units start back here. We want to try to hack down their militia as quickly as possible and then worry about the other reinforcement units coming in later. They don't have a hero or anything, it's just these units. So you guys attack there. Yeah, the hero just hits this dude. Because the hero can do that. Stand up and get a the high ground. Prevent them from taking the high ground. So we'll have these guys blocked in. I guess we're going to have some people fly up on the ridge, huh? By some people, I mean the people who can fly. So you move to there. If I wanted you to move to here and attack him... Yeah, I think that leaves room for everybody. Alright. I'm very reliant on our hero hacking through their fortifications. Although, honestly, we're getting some pretty good damage. I was a little worried about how much damage we'd be able to do to them with the morale being what it is. But it turns out not to be as bad as I was afraid of. So you see there, the chain lightning effect is not supposed to work on people who have fortification. You see it didn't spread. But this guy's chain lightning did, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, you can see the second line there in the battle effects. Does not work against a unit with fortification. That's strange. Alright, so with this guy having 116 fortification left, we probably can put 2 Epitanes on him and strip that. We might be able to get through this in one as well. So we can actually kill these units. You really, really don't have to attack the settler. It's not urgent. Okay, so his fortification's off. The hero will definitely kill him. And see, that time the chain lightning went off. Okay, so 151 of you guys fight to remove that. And yeah, I guess you don't really have a lot of options. These dense formations are not good for maneuvering around. We did not get through his fortification at all. That's a shame. That means their attacks were basically wasted. Alright, everybody focus on this guy while the hero finishes off that dude. And we have 2 entire turns after this to finish the battle. So it looks like we've taken the city. Well, the hero's not quite pulling it off. And 56 is way too much for us to finish with chain lightning. But the Epitanes have it under control, I'm sure. Man, imagine what our army would look like if it had real strategic weapons. Oh, that sucks. Our hero does effectively 16 damage because the Epitane couldn't get its act together. Alright, so now that we have this, come on, fingers crossed for that quest notification. Didn't get it. Maybe it'll pop. Oh no, there it is. Excellent. We've earned ourselves the Kernel of Plentitude. And is that they're burning down the golem camp? We could try to stop them. Hold on a second. I'll consider it. We have the city. I feel our tendrils reaching through its foundations, snaking its halls, and climbing its highest towers. Under the mycelial skin that swathes everything, time and entropy are much weakened foes. We preserve. Already we have found a most valuable artifact. And perhaps, if we are lucky, within the ensnared city we will find another voice. The endless winter comes, creating an icy tomb out of an entire world. Snows will lie 100 hands deep. Oceans will freeze. Life will cease. Well, if we are fortunate, not all life. Some species seek refuges from time to time. Others grasp for the cold reaches of space. For ourselves, the Mykara, we will withdraw into the heart of the planet, where molten fires battle against the encroaching ice. We will sing rich remembrances, vivid memories of biological horrors in endless laboratories, their descendants eking out a life in irradiated wastelands. Later, a slaughter of one Oregon tribe by another in a subterranean citadel. Our melodic discourse speculates on science and philosophy, truth and justice, crime and punishment, but our first instinct is always to preserve. Whatever comes of Auriga, we will abide, ready to share its story. Of the Urkans, we know not how they will survive the winter. Likely they will return to the depths as they have always done. Maybe the heat of the core will be enough to keep them alive. And if, in one distant day, decades or centuries or millennia hence, it doesn't matter, they emerge into an Oregon spring, the Mykara will be ready. We must plant the kernel of plenitude, for 30 mithrite and some dust, and of course the reward of having the kernel of plenitude. So this thing requires some palladium, which we have more than enough of. I am tempted to move everybody over onto industry. Could we get this down to 1 turn? We could. How many people do I have to leave on industry for that to work? Because we should do that, right? Like, that's a pretty big deal. Okay, it is this many. So, where are we at on our Empire plan? It would be 1399 to maintain the Empire plan as it is. If we ended up losing this, it wouldn't be the end of the world, I guess. But I definitely want the Kernel of Plenitude finished immediately. We also need to run units over here. First of all, to get the pearls, but obviously, secondly, to reinforce. Oh, yep, and you should be the modern version of the thing that you are. The last guy in the queue before we did the new designs. Oh, I can't step into this area because that's where the battle is. Alright, so we got ourselves a whole bunch of cool new stuff. What is the output of this city? 82 science, 51 additional industry. This is a pretty good grab. Alright, let's have a look at the units they're going to try to use to kill this this golem camp. So Stone Sentinel 3 is pretty bad. 2 is worse, no big surprise. 4 is only marginally better. What about the hero himself? 95 attack, 55 damage? Okay, this is interesting. So our units, I believe, will show up as reinforcements, like through the reinforcement panel, a couple at a time. And even so, I think we can probably win this. I sure hope we can, anyway. I'm gonna feel like a real idiot on this if we don't. How much movement do they have? 3? I think we should have these 2 units just step back. I don't know if there's any benefit in running forward to fight right now. So they do have their Geomancer, casting spells. Gotta keep an eye on that support ability. I don't actually remember what it does, so let's read that really quickly. This is it. Here we go. Plus 20% attack, 10% initiative, and 20% defense. Oh, it's 20% attack when cast on volcanic terrain, which it was. 10% initiative on forest terrain, or 20% defense on other terrain. Yeah, we can deal with that. Alright, so our hero is through the breach, and we'll absolutely just go directly after their hero. And we gotta start hacking away at these guys, I guess. I think we've got this under control. As long as he doesn't come at us with an army full of those golem riders, we're in pretty good shape. Oh, he's standing on our reinforcement pad. That's a shame. Also, they're not... There we go. I was going to say, they're not letting my hero take advantage of his free counter. Okay, how much health do you have left? 132? Yeah, okay, the hero should probably finish the job there. Let's make sure you don't attack the one that's standing on the reinforcement panel. Let's make sure we back away from him as best we can. Having the initiative advantage really is significant. Our ability to constantly reshape the formation of the battle however we want it has been instrumental for us. Okay, well, I mean, this is over. We don't really have to plan very hard from this point. I wonder why he's not using more Golem Riders. I don't actually know how the AI make their decisions about which unit designs they want to build. It's possible that he was... What we're seeing here is that he was trying to build the units he thought would be more effective against the necrophages. He felt like he wanted the sort of the heavy infantry against the push of the necrophages. It also is the case that Stone Sentinels end up not costing you any military upkeep at all. There's a thing in the faction quest that makes that happen. So maybe he's building a lot of them now just because they are cheaper to run. Okay, so I'm going to end the turn right here on this non-volcanic soil. I would run back into the city if we had the movement. Yeah, we'll definitely take that. So this is 5 more pearls, taking us to 17. Let's see. We see another 3 over here. Near the teleportation ruin. Ooh, that's 7. Okay. We may want to have, like, this Epitane turn around, grab this, and go back to the teleportation ruin. Because I do want to test that chapel thing. And if it is as good as we hope it will be, we would like to test that as soon as humanly possible. Alright, we don't have enough of most luxuries available. Like, the Moonleaf ran out a couple of turns ago, and I knew it wasn't going to be able to be repopped. We could rerun the spices, but I think we'll wait until winter ends. We're nowhere near being able to use Titan Bones. Is our die booster... Our die booster is still running for another 5 turns. Okay, yep, we're just waiting. Wonder if it would be worthwhile to switch over our assimilate. How much do we need the 5% science versus the extra Titan Bone income? Oh, we have access to Ursus now as well. That's actually pretty interesting. They only reduced the production cost of buildings, and I think we're going to be building a lot of military units in the near future, but if we decide to go for a Temple of the Earth's Core victory, swapping our assimilate over to the Ursus will be a pretty important idea. We're currently bringing in 1.5 per turn. It's going to take forever for this to finish. I'm going to swap our assimilate. Alright, let's see what Pink has in terms of retaliatory ability here. Man, our hero healed almost back to full. We have some pretty okay regen. Let's see if there's anything else to our faction quest. No, can I not select my guy? Here we go. I don't know who those dudes are, but we're just going to ignore them for the moment. And that's a pretty big blue army in my territory. If they were anybody but the roving clans, I'd be pretty worried. Okay, so here we have a Golem Rider. Not too worried about the Golem Riders. Or not too worried about anybody but the Golem Riders, rather. So produce 100 food, industry, dust, and science in your main city, and that gets us to the end. Plus 3 FIDS multiplier on fungal blooms. That's pretty cool. So, and it gave us actually most of the mithrite that we'll need for the temple. So where did that... Okay, that army stopped there. Well, I am more certain than ever that Rare Metal Foundry was the correct call. We are currently producing 1,000 food. Yep, we're well over the values necessary. I throw everybody back on influence, gets us to... like 1,500. Yeah, okay. We'll actually be able to keep our current empire plan. We will not be able to do this. We won't even be able to do just this. 2664 is well out of reach, but we're in pretty good a pretty good place here. Get another birth next turn, which enables another burrow. Yeah, things are going all right. So what about this hero? If follow Tegrit. Okay, if follow Tegrit's actually a pretty dangerous unit. But the Stone Sentinels in his army are less so. These guys do have like 80 damage. He has 74. It looks like they maybe have... Oh, he has army damage boost 3. I was going to say they maybe have reimagined their designs, but these are Stone Sentinel 4s. We've seen these guys before. This is entirely just that commander having good bonuses. Well, I mean, we're in position to catch him. But do I want to have you come home and just teleport out to grab more pearls? Probably, right? That's a pretty big deposit. Yeah. We probably won't miss the one Epitane. Oh, it actually triggered already. I looked right past it. Usually stuff like this fires only at the beginning of the turn. Our preparations for the endless winter are almost complete. The heart of our empire has never been stronger. Our thirsting tendrils never more efficient, or never more proficient, and our voices never louder. One day we will emerge from this icy crypt and tell the stories of Mykara and Urkan, and all of Auriga's other races. So, we could start building the Temple of the Earth's Core the moment we hit 40 Mithrite and 40 Hyperion. That's not entirely trivial to do. Tell you what, I think our next tech is probably going to be Endless Mechanism. Try to get lucky and find some of those things in the ruins. And then maybe we'll seek Hospitality Den just to keep Red from cutting our throat. I don't know when does the victory notification for the Temple of the Earth's Core fire the second you put it in the queue? I don't remember. It might be too late by the time we actually would get Hospitality Den. Alright, what does the market for these resources look like? There's a bunch of Mithrite available, no Hyperium though. You try to negotiate somebody out of some out of another player. How you feel about a truce? They're feeling positive about a truce. Because we don't need to keep pushing, right? What does their next city look like? Actually, I should keep it up at this view. Do they have any extractors? They have a Mithrite deposit here that does not have an extractor built on it. They might not have the tech. I assumed when we saw them have some Mithrite and some Hyperium that they did, but maybe that's not a safe assumption. The thing is, I don't actually want to take Wervelin. I don't want the Necrophages to be adjacent to us. I want to have this buffer. So, maybe taking peace right now is reasonable. I kind of like it, actually. They're still at war with Red. Red might be able to actually hold them down a little bit. I know that Red has control of some of the oceans, so he might ship troops across. Yeah, I don't think this guy has anything else that we want necessarily. You know, Native District would not be a terrible tech, but we could just pick it up ourselves. For some reason he has Search Party. Not a great research. Did the Kapakus start with it too? I don't remember. I think I'm going to take this deal. You're just going to give me some of your Hyperium. We are probably not going to be able to start the Temple of the Earth's Core right away. That deal was cheap enough that it probably doesn't disrupt our Empire plan. I think the play here might be Let's hang out for 2 turns, hit turn 80, commit our Empire plan, and then push really hard for this. So we can maybe take it easy on building more Epitanes. Next turn we'll be able to start construction of another burrow, because we'll have the population. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And we're at 12 pearls, so we need 13 more to attempt to build the chapel. Do we have a lot more deposits? Oh, we do. We have quite a few more deposits in our empire. Alright. Well, then I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good place here. Also, the victory quest is going to start, so there's that. Okay, what is this? It is a closing of borders. That's fine. Hold on. Is the end of Auriga coming near? Cracks begin to appear in the planet's crust, particularly in those places where ancient sites of the Endless were dug particularly deep. It is hard to say if it is the work of the Endless or of some greater spirit, but at 5 of the most affected sites, great beams of dustlight illuminate the planet as far as the eye can see. Explorations of these locations show a vast network of tunnels, rooms, and storehouses. As your explorers investigate, they also seek to better understand this ever-stranger world on which they live. It is a race against time to understand the cracks and the ruins, for if the end is coming, you certainly have work to do for your people. So, you get this when you finish your factory, or your faction quest, like the turn after you finish your faction quest, and if you complete this quest chain, which has 5 major parts, you win the game. There are 2 ways to go after completing your faction quest. Search one of the ruins illuminated by a giant dustlight with at least an army of 6 units of level 4 led by a hero of level 9. I do not believe that our hero is currently level 9. So we finished Rare Metal Foundry, which means we probably want to start building some extractors immediately, just in case it turns out not to be feasible to acquire the resources in any other way, and wouldn't that be a shame? Definitely going to build this. We're just producing a crazy amount of food right now. Like, let's look at... So I'm trying to see, like, where is the multiplier being applied directly on the tiles? Or... No, it's being applied to the resources as they come into the main city, I guess. But hey, look at this. +2 science from Geomic Labs. So actually, the buildings that we build in the capital do affect all of our bloomed tiles as well. That's a good thing to know. Probably too late for us to, like, make much use of that at this point, but it's good to know. Our hero's not that far from being level 9. But we should just try to make sure, I guess, especially since we're about to search a bunch of ruins, huh? Try to make sure that we have people in position to search stuff. Although I probably want to leave this for the hero army. Yeah, I don't know what your job is right now, Mr. Shambler. We're probably never going to bother picking up the final army size improvement, or at least not anytime soon. So he's not going to join up. I guess he just goes and hangs out in Lioneth. And Ozek is also only level 8, so we couldn't even pull Ozek for this purpose. We wouldn't, but we also can't. Yeah, but you're just going to stay right there. Alright, let's commit what we are fingers crossed, hoping is our final Empire plan. Probably it won't be. It will probably take us until after turn 100 to build the temple. We also have a huge amount of dust that I need to remember to spend on something. Yeah, I think we just keep this exact thing. We are not currently at war with anybody, but we very well may end up at war with somebody. Okay, I got a quest instead of anything useful from that, which I'm pretty disappointed about. You can make it all the way over to here and search this ruin as well. That's not what I want. Okay, the delivering staff. A thing we would have to spend high-tier resources to equip instead of a bunch of high-tier resources. Well, the good news is we can grab ruins over here as well. Maybe we'll get a little bit luckier. Because at this point in the game, we should be able to find pretty large packs of Hyperium and Mithrite. Okay, well, we could find a bunch of dust. That's fine, I guess. It's not exactly what I need. Yeah, war against another empire in 10 turns. What is with all these quests? Alright, so we got ourselves enough pearls to build ourselves a Chapel of Auriga. We need to test whether this works the way I would like it to work. So right now our city is 15 plus 1 people in it. Let's see if that increases that number by 1 or about 1 billion. And with Endless Mechanisms finished, are there stockpiles on the market? There are not. Because that would definitely have been a thing. We could have purchased and then just gotten all the stockpile tax. We could hire more heroes, I guess. I don't know that we need very much from the market. We can buy all of them. Well, we can buy the 10 mithrite we need. Go ahead and do that now. We can buy the 7 Hyperium that exists. And now we have to come across 23 more Hyperium. And also, I didn't start the extractors last turn. Make sure that we get... I mean, we don't need the mithrite extractor, but maybe I should get it anyway, because we could sell the mithrite and maybe use dust to rush the construction of the thing. No, it's better for us to focus on food at this point. Like, hard focus food, really get the population in the city as high as possible. And I guess with our science, we would just research anything that improves our industry, right? So, like, automated production is phenomenal. The National Craftworks will be good. Industrial processing will be good. It is worth noting, remember, that we don't actually get resources out of our strategic extractors during the winter very easily. Because of that one winter effect. Yeah, -1 resource on each extractor. Why is it that we're still getting income? Well, we get 1 from the Urkan, because the Urkan is not technically an extractor. That's good to know. Why are we getting plus 2.5 from the city? Shouldn't each of our extractors be producing half reduced by 1? Or rather, 1 reduced by 1 and then halved? Where... Oh, right, the city's immune to the negative effects of winter. Ozek the Chosen is keeping our income going. Okay, never mind. Never mind. This is like, we spent a skill point to see exactly this sort of thing occur. Alright, well, he's going to hit level 9 really quickly then, off of ruin searching XP. So when we teleport him over and have him search that ruin, we can push the victory quest along a little bit too, see if that takes us anywhere useful. Definitely worried about all these blue troops in our territory. I think this is kind of an interesting game, because Pink played in a way that feels a little bit like a player to me. You know, he made, I think, some evaluation mistakes, but evaluation mistakes that feel kind of human, like he got scared. Yeah, okay. Last time he wanted an alliance, he wanted, like, tech, didn't he? And I was a little nervous about giving him that, so we ignored it. But I'm fine giving him dust. This is not... First of all, this costs me effectively nothing. I don't need this dust. And secondly, it probably doesn't help him very much at all. And a commercial agreement, sure. So we don't... we have this commercial agreement with him. We don't have any trade routes, because we're not connected to him. Let's see if we can get peace with this guy cheaply as well. You do it for not even all of our titanium. Obviously, he wants the mithrite. He can't have it. Yeah, I'd be willing to trade off some of my titanium. Okay, that'll get our trade routes running again. It's not totally necessary, but the cost of doing it was basically nothing, so why not? And this winter could just end any moment now. That would be fine. Alright, so we have a little bit of influence to play with now. Let's try to make some deals. Let's see if we can negotiate some Hyperium off of the Draken player. Nope, I did that. That's cool. Gives us more dust to play with. It seems like he's a little desperate for money, maybe? Might work out in our favor. Okay. We do, in fact, only get the extra point of population from the pacified village in our capital region. That's not, like, totally crazy. I'm not super surprised by that. But given the wording, I was really hoping that the way it was worded, it should have given us all the extra population. It would have been a real balance problem if it had. Like that would have been a thing that needed to be fixed. I did not click on that. That was just a mouse-up event because I was dragging my camera around. Boy, it sure looks like those guys are selected. There we go. So you can see, like, a lot of... The AI build a lot of settlers. This is just something that's always been true. I'm not sure why, like... Why have we seen so very many settlers when the map has been completely full for an extremely long time? Did they really build all of these settlers before the map was full, and now they're just running them around because they don't have anything to do with them? Seems a little crazy. Alright, 22 Hyperium. Can I scam 22 Hyperium off of people? You actually have more than that. Okay. Let's talk, let's talk. I hear you love dust. Oh my god, the rate we're gonna get on this? Yeah, I feel very comfortable with this deal. I'm extremely okay with that. Okay, well, I guess let's throw the Temple of the Earth's core on there. And we'll grab ourselves 50 turns of construction. Obviously, that's not the final number. we're gonna keep working on it. So we do need to get our granary up as well. That's something we should probably spend a little bit of dust on. So, all of our dust for the rest of the game is just buying out buildings in the main city. Because obviously we're going to devote all of our construction efforts to the temple. But we have so much stuff coming in that our population will still be growing, our tax will still be finishing. Like, we're in a really good spot here, and we can get this number down quite a bit. Okay, for some reason that just went up. And I'm going to keep the Dorgeshi assimilated until we hit Titan Bone Booster, and then we're going to switch over to the Ursus. I remember the Ursus apply their bonus as a reduction in the total cost of the building, not as an improvement in your industry. So actually, we don't need to apply them until the turn when they lower the cost down enough that it meets the amount that we've already put into it. Alright, so the warning does go out immediately. The spices and the dye have both ended. Somebody just built the first Guardian of the game. Seems like the AI is slower to build Guardians now than they used to be, which honestly I think is probably a good thing, because most of the Guardians are pretty bad units. This is going to be 3,065. Okay, so we're not too far off of that, actually. This will be the next thing we buy out. The Burrow is definitely going to want to... We're going to want to wait on that. Alright, and we no longer need to search ruins for resources, but we still get dust out of ruins, we still get other cool stuff. And I mean, at this point, if we find Mithrite and Hyperium, we can just sell them. Okay, there's an Avenging Army that just spawned, and we'll get a fair amount of resources for killing them, which we will then sell. They are sieging Doyak instead of attacking us. What a bunch of jerks. I guess these guys are just going to park here. Ziri's band, which sadly we cannot sell, and 300 science, which is fine, but not super valuable to us at this point. So Red, everybody just received that victory notification, and they're all having feelings about it. Red probably will not attack us over it because a victory for us is now a victory for red. Purple has been eliminated from the game, effectively. You know what? This settler is the only reason that purple's still even in the game. So let's maybe... Oh, I'm at truce with them. I can't attack them while they're in my territory. Or, I can't attack them at all. In 5 turns, we could. Well, we'll just ignore them. I don't care that much. So purple is out of the race. Blue literally can't declare war on me. And that just leaves pink and green. Pink is cowed by my impressive military might and probably a little terrified of what red's going to do to them. And green is distant and potentially powerful. We actually don't know. It could be the case that a force of necrophages will show up on the border at any moment. So, I guess let's try to be ready for that as much as you can be ready for something like that. So now that we're at 2,200 dust, I wonder if we could, this turn, sell enough stuff to the market to be able to buy out that industry building. Attack them. There we go. Right, obviously, auto-resolve. Unfortunately, moving around in their zone of control has sapped all of our movement. Okay, green declared war on us. Blue has banned us from the market. That does suck, actually. Alright, we might be able to maneuver out of that one. I know blue's not a big fan of us right now, but we may be able to solve that. So, how are we going to be able to do that? How might we be able to do that? Market ban removal is expensive. You can also just nullify the market ban at the cost of a larger amount of influence. But actually, it's remarkably cheap for us. I'm not sure why this is so low. I mean, 288's not low. We have a ton of income, is why that feels that way. Yeah, turns out, no, I'm not banned from the market. I'll just use all of my political influence to get access again. And we are 15 Titan Bones. Oh, hey. Yeah, worth it. Worth delaying the industry building a little bit. And in fact, we really didn't, did we? Alright, 40 turns left on this. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about green. Out of curiosity, how do you feel about a war declaration on green? I think that, yeah, that's a totally buyable amount. Alright, we'll make that work. I don't know that them declaring war on green is necessarily actually going to be helpful. They're not really in a good position to defend, but anybody being at war with green is good for us. Anything that might distract them. Okay, we can see a green army right now. Hold on. Let's jump in here and have a look. Okay, so these Battleborn are pretty old. This Necrodrone is fine, not great. That Harmonite's got some pretty okay stats. Yeah, that's a decent unit. Alright, so they have some reasonably modern stuff. Stuff that I feel like we need to at least be worried about. So 3065. Is it the case that we still need the Dorgeshi assimilated? Not really. It's like I said, we don't need the Ursus until the moment when the 15% reduction in the cost of this building would bring the cost down to the amount of industry that we've already put into it. So who might we assimilate in the meantime? Plus 5% food? Not awesome, but it is we do have a lot of food coming in. A percentage bonus to our food output is a significant thing. And every citizen who is born is one more body working hard on industry. So when Ozek levels up next, we'll start grabbing more points in Impassioned Preacher. I'm glad that we finished Inspirational Leader. And with more points in Impassioned Preacher, we'll see that industry value climb even higher. Automated production... no, automated production doesn't affect the per citizen value. It's the thing from industrial processing that does that. Yeah, alright, provided we don't get eaten by necrophages, I think we are in a pretty good position to push to victory here. But that's a thing that we're going to have to verify tomorrow, because we are out of time for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see if we can survive the oncoming of the swarm. And we'll see you then.